let's talk about this presidential election. So, presidential election, there's two things that we can learn from President Donald Trump. And people are probably like, what is he talking about? This guy. There's some things that we can learn from Pratt. Forget what your political stance is for a moment. Forget about what party you represent for a moment. Forget about maybe some of the outlandish things that you feel President Trump may say at times that could be deemed disrespectful. Forget that at the moment. Forget at the moment, right? I want you to think about, excuse me, I want you to think about the what we're seeing here, what we saw here, because we can always learn from something and from somebody. And maybe it won't apply to your life right away, but maybe it will. And maybe sometimes it don't. But it's always something you can pick up on. And I gotta admit, for me, I commend President Trump. I say that because I took something from it, and I'm just sharing it with y'all. And again, whether you like them or not, this ain't about liking them or not. What I'm doing, I'm just trying to share with people an opportunity that you could learn and probably apply to your life that can probably help you reach some of your goals. I'm going to sum it up like this. He ran for president in 2000, I think, under the Reform Party. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I know he ran. I think it was the Reform Party, but correct me if I'm wrong. In 2000, obviously didn't get it because you need electoral college votes to become president, and right now it's Democrat and Republican. You can run independent, all this stuff. It ain't happening unless you're on one of the sides. So didn't get it. Okay. 2016, we know he ran. Got the president. 2020, didn't get the president. There's a lot of reasons. There's allegations. We know the things he spoke about. We know things happened, but it didn't happen. He didn't win. Biden became president. President Biden became currently our president now. 2024 election, Trump got it again, right? Throughout the course, whether people believe it or not, whether you want to say whatever you want to say, it is what it is. We're just going to go by what we see here on the surface. There was a couple of assassination attempts on his life. Okay? Let's just park that. A couple of assassination attempts on his life. And in one of them, there was some people who lost their lives. And my condolences to those families. My condolences. So you have that. He went through a lot of legal trouble and stuff. I don't want to get into all of that in the various states and stuff. He was going through legal trouble. He's an older gentleman. I believe President Trump's in his mid-70s now. And kept going and became president. So I took away two things. You may take away more things. You may take away one thing. You may not take away anything. That's your preference. But for me, and I'm just looking at it just from the standpoint of an example of two things for me. Persistence. This is a man that ain't stopped. After everything I just listed to you, he ran before, didn't get it. Ran again, got it. Want to go for re-election, didn't get it. Came back again, assassination attempts, cases on him, still going, got it again. That's what this life thing is about. I'm just using him as an example. It's a very important topic. Is, in my opinion, the most important topic as of today in our country, him being reelected. But this is a great example of many that can be shown to describe what life is about. That roller coaster ride. But if you have a goal and you say persistence, and my brother B, he gonna love this because that's his thing. Being persistent, over persistent. I love you, bro. But being persistent, he got his goal. Whether you like it or not, he got his goal. Another thing is belief. standing on what he believed in, whether you agree with it or not, standing on the values, standing on the principles he believed in, standing on the things he wanted to run on, staying consistent with that, staying persistent with that, and keep going. That's what I took away from it. Um, and and honestly, I related to my life in a sense because um, obviously I'm not the president, so I haven't reached the heights that he's reached. But it doesn't matter about heights. Like it doesn't. It's not comparing. It doesn't matter about comparing yourself because all of us have been in situations where we had to either fold or we stand up and keep going and fight for it. And I've been in situations like that all the time. And every time you keep fighting and stay persistent and stand on the things that you believe in, you're gonna win. And I have plenty of examples in my life that I've done that. And so taking a step back and seeing that, um, you know, I think whether you agree with his views or not, you have to say that that level of tenacity, most people are going to relate to because if you're a fighting person, even if you're a democratic person, like you're gonna agree that you're gonna like because it don't matter what your party is. Like most human beings, like especially if you feel like your life is on the line. Most of us, you gonna fight. Hey, whether we win, lose, or draw, you gonna feel something now. I'm gonna fight now. So that's relatable. And that ignites. I'll admit, where I'm at in the area where I'm at in Georgia. I mean, keep it real. Like I felt a good, like an energy, but it was like a good energy. Like people like, and to basically to break it out like this, there's a lot that's been going on in our country that's been affecting us. Economically, I think it's really, really been rough on all of us. I mean, when you see the rich folks selling things off, I mean, the wealthy folks just finding ways to liquidate, to have, cash on hand. And these are folks that, they're not going to go broke, but it's just the mere fact of things have gotten tight cost wise because most of these folks are running companies. And for every company out there, I mean, Apple's giving, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm human, but I do read a lot, and I saw something where Apple was giving away free engravements on the Apple AirPods, the new AirPods that's coming out, and they were giving free engravements or something. Somebody find it if you find it, and if I'm wrong, check me on that. I said, Apple giving something away for free? Apple? Apple don't get nothing away for free. Our nonprofit organization look for a donation from Apple. Apple say they don't donate. Now I know they probably have certain relationships with other nonprofits that probably well sure way bigger than ours, where they probably have some donation deal. But I contacted Apple directly myself. They don't donate, from what I was told. Now this was a few years ago. And I'm not sure if their CEO changed, but I don't know if that philosophy has shifted. Well, shift the culture, right? So I don't know if it shifted, but that was during that time. But at any rate, economically we were struggling as we are. It's some hardship, so it's kind of expected for people to kind of want to change, whether you agree with it or not, and kind of like be kind of ignited about, man, at least we got something different that we can look forward to, and hopefully it works out. We really want it to work out because at the end of the day, this ain't about a party thing here, man. This is about a people thing. It's not about a party thing. It's about a people thing. And I'm telling you right now, it don't matter what your religion is. It don't matter what your color is. It don't matter if you're what your socioeconomic background is. It don't matter any of that stuff. Like, if you're a woman, you're a man, like a female, male, none of that stuff. Like to me, it don't matter. Like, it's a people thing, and it's a God thing. And so, to me, this presidential election, outside of the two things that I felt that I grabbed from President Trump, just what I was able to learn from him as a person and took away from him is persistence and standing on what you believe in. Um, I feel that our world is shaping and shifting to a point where morality, morality, what God has established, what I always say, nature knows best. Um, I feel that our world is our country, because I'm not going to speak for other countries, and we'll get into that because I love international talk and politics. There's a lot going on in the world, and we're going to have episodes touching on that, but then bringing it all back in as to how it helps us shift the culture. But I think morality is at the forefront of a lot of people. I want y'all to understand something as we get ready to wrap this episode up. Um, People don't want to continue to. You have a lot of families that's been affected. We mentioned economics, but I'm gonna tell you another thing that's really damaging families. My family has been impacted by it, and millions of families in this country has been impacted by it. Fentanyl, the drug thing, y'all. It has gotten into black communities, white communities, Latin communities, Asian, whatever community. It's gotten into the communities and have been killing youth, all the way up to seniors, grown folks. The whole 9 yards have been dying from fentanyl. And so when you look at economically, you look at the borders. I don't want to get into a whole political thing about the immigration and all of that. Like, we're gonna have topics and talk about these things, and we'll have open forum. Like, the podcast is gonna be open for, we're gonna have people coming on talking about various things in the future. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a level of morality where people like just tired, man. I feel like people just want, man, the right things to start to get done, man. Like, we're tired of kind of playing the political correct game and all of that, man. Let's get back to really the foundation of all this thing, and that's um, number one, starting with God and not leaving Him out of the picture. Um, and then number two, really getting focused on how we can reinvest back into our communities, reinvest back into our children, and sending the right messages to them. How we can reinvest back into our families. Those that we know that have some struggles going on, whether it's mental struggles, whether it's addiction struggles, and being able to establish things within our society that can be a benefit and help them overcome these things so they can become better people. Those have been incarcerated and that are coming out, back into society, putting things together that can help them reestablish themselves. Being able to support our communities, supporting our military, which is key, right? Protecting our country, which is key. These are vital, like, just morality things that just make sense. And I think overall, again, and this ain't, to me, it ain't a Democrat or Republican thing. This is just, to me, a basic thing. But we got to kind of get back to that standard and kind of shift the culture back to the right direction and where we need to be from a morality standpoint as human beings. When none of us are perfect, we're all growing, trying to get better. But people want to be better and get better, and so I think that that's right. So at any rate, those are the things I learned from the presidential election. Again, I hope things work out for all of us as Americans. It's not going to be a perfect world. Although President Trump is getting in, we can't expect things to change overnight, whether it was him or Miss Harris. And I want to show respects to Miss Kamala Harris because, at the end of the day, she was put in a position. She had a short time to run, she was put in a position, due to President Biden's, having, to step away from the race. And, and before I got on the podcast, I was reading that she contacted President Trump directly, and ceded to him, and basically did it the professional and right way and respectful way, and acknowledging that he won the election. And so to President Harris, to Vice President Harris, excuse me, I think that's commendable. So we have to show respect to her, because at the end of the day, y'all, whether it's two sides, Democrat, Republican, the back and forth and the banter and all of that, it's like sports. I was an athlete, and I'm sure there's tons of athletes watching this, or I hopefully tons. Right now it might be 5, but hopefully it'll be tons in the future. But I'm sure there's people that whether it's athlete, we compete as human beings, and it's not it's not always a negative thing. It's just what it is. We're trying to get into this position, and so Trump won, but President Trump won, and so, for Vice President Harris to, show that respect, I commend her for that. So, but those are the two things I took away from President Trump's win and his run back into the presidency. And I think there's a lot of things that we can take away from it. And again, if you don't want to take anything away from it, that's your prerogative. But that's my take